Hey everybody, welcome to a new beautiful winter's day here in sunny Florida. So, where we left off, I needed to get a barbed fitting for the heater core bypass, in which I did so, and I got some new clamps to go around it. So the first thing we're going to do is cut off that old hose and try and join them together. So here's my plan. I believe that somewhere there is a really clever engineer who knew that the heater core was going to be bypassed. So what I'm going to do is the one on the left, I'm going to cut it right here so that it's coming straight out from there, and then the one on the right I'm going to cut up here so I can kind of like twist it downwards. I guess it'll just be easier to see when I'm done. So I got both my pieces cut. That's how they ended up looking. Not perfect. And then my plan is to kind of join them together right there. So once I get the two hose clamps in place before starting this, then I will insert the barb fitting, and then hopefully we'll be all good to go. 2 minutes later and we're all good to go. No leaks so far, but we have lost quite a bit of coolant, and by coolant I mean water. So I may want to start this thing up and let it bleed off and see if there's any air in the system, which I'm guessing there definitely is now. I would like to start this thing up and possibly drive it around, but it's absolutely packed with tools and I never vacuumed it out from before. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Hopefully it's real quick, and then we will check back in. So I just took my son for a walk down at the park, came back looking at this with a fresh set of eyes. So there was a massive cable, this one, that ran all the way to the back of the car, and I have no idea what this did with all this information, but it just went to a large plug connector. It wasn't plugged into anything, so I figured it's probably trash. So I trimmed this back, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll do what I did in the Mustang and just start really gutting this thing of its wires. I mean, there's quite a few that don't go anywhere now. So I started with this large red wire, and as soon as I cut it, the car didn't run anymore. So I went ahead and just kind of twisted it back in place. But it leads to this butt connector and then into these two red wires, and then I don't know where it goes after that. So I find that kind of interesting, that it just runs into here, which I thought I cut all these, but I guess I'm going to strip this back and see where those red wires go, because it's definitely preventing the car from working. Went back and stripped off all of that black shrouding around everything, and it should definitely be noted that I don't understand electricity as well as I probably should for working around it too often, but what I do understand is I enjoy simplifying things a lot. I like taking something that looks very complicated and bringing it into its simplest form. Maybe that goes back with the designer in me, that I really like designing something in the least amount of steps. I find it more enjoyable that way. But, I mean, I'm just pulling out these excess wires. I broke my link on the red power wire again, so that's a bummer, but I'll actually solder it together, at least know how to do that. So like this green wire, that's not going anywhere, and the red wire, now everything's disconnected. I hope you can see that in the film. Everything's disconnected, and so theoretically the car won't start at all right now. So perhaps it just needed to be terminated. I don't know. Let's get the rest of this thing stripped and then I'll tell you what's up. So I still have the red wire disconnected. I just want to be very sure of this. And I'm going to push in the clutch and try and start the car. Yeah, so that's exactly what it did last time. Oops. So let me go ahead and twist the red wire back onto it. But first I'm going to disconnect the negative on the battery. should really just solder this thing together. I didn't solder them together, but I did twist them together, and it's basically the same thing. So, we go plug the battery back in, we'll try this again. And here we go. So now we might have a problem. So I think it was actually the battery terminal. So I didn't change anything, I just twisted that a little bit and voila! So let's do that. Unput that, pull these back apart, repeat the exact same test. Alrighty, so I don't need that. It was just a bad connection at the ground on the battery back there. Problem solved. My original intent was to save the dash as much as possible, but it's cracked and shattered so much from removing other pieces that it's honestly not worth it anymore. So I just want the bar that goes all the way across in between. So it's just a couple of Phillips head screws, and then I should be able to bolt that back into the car. That will also mount the steering column in the correct place. So I got the dash bar back in. Sure. And this seat, which is so troublesome because it only has those 2 bolt holes, so it's not the safest thing on the planet, but we're not going at highway speeds just yet. Let me just clean up the rest of this thing, and then I think I gotta drive this thing. It's like an itch that needs scratching. You know, you can't just have a toy here and not play with it. So we just got back. This thing is so much fun to drive around in, but it's so sketchy. So the couple things I want to check. I want to check for any leaks at my hose clamp. And this motor is plenty hot. I can smell how hot it is. You can also smell how hot it is when you're driving it. Really got to do something about that battery tie down. Like make a battery tie down. Should probably make sure that the fuel pump has a better hookup instead of just dangling wires holding it together. Overall, it's coming along nicely. We still got to chop a bunch of the front end off. So just like the Hoonigan guys, come about right there. Take that whole front out, but we still need to leave enough for the radiator to be sported. We also have the condenser and everything to remove for the air conditioning system because we're not going to have any of that anymore since we have no dash, no controls, things like that. Oh, one thing that's really funny is this mechanical rod that goes into the back of the display that keeps the odometer and speedometer working. That thing's just like spinning away, pointed at your face when you're driving it. It's kind of funny. It's so light, so nimble, but it's so rough around the edges. I really need to like clean it somehow. I don't know how we can give it a bath other than like a scrub brush. I think it deserves it though, but that's after we trim the rest of this. So the new line is going to be right here. So there's not going to be a step in here anymore. Plus it's not doing a whole lot right now anyway. I don't know how much of an episode this is going to be, but I don't know, I worked on it a few hours. I'm good. Drove it around a little bit. It's so funny when my neighbors see me and they wave and they're like, what the heck is that guy doing? Alright, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode of $1,000Car Guy. Oh, I almost forgot. Can you guys believe how close we are to 1,000 subscribers? I think I'm at like 992 right now, and at 1,000 I can get monetized again, which will make me more inclined to make more videos for you guys. So if you haven't subscribed, now's your chance, and I don't know, I'm still tempted to do that Amazon $100 gift card giveaway, but we'll see once we reach 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.